people being treated better than others, and you are making this a mission to end that. Tell us where you're really focused on treating cases alike.
Look, for your listening public, I quoted Aristotle a couple of times, but in the simplest way is he really did have this great quote about treating like cases alike. And I use that with regard to special purpose acquisition companies. This is a way that private companies are seeking to go public in a new way. There's traditional IPOs, but then they're trying to do these things called SPACs. And I think that we should still protect the public, that you get full and fair disclosure, that there's really somebody looking at the company closely called an underwriter, and that they have certain obligations, and that you, the investing public, get all the opportunities that some of the the other folks get. But we could use that Aristotle quote on crypto as well.
We're going to get there.
To try like activities alike.
But see, Gary, what I'm worried about is this. People are losing fortunes. And it wasn't like you didn't predict it, because you talk about the idea of celebrity-backed deals. But one thing, when I brought a company public through the commission, I was shaking in my boots, because I knew that they would look at every line. And they sure did. And they spent 4 weeks with me, grilling me about my projections, which they then told me no more projections, about how I was doing, what was going on. The scrutiny was so great that I almost didn't want to go through the process. Gary, these people don't have any scrutiny.
It's a very different world, and I say this to anybody listening. If you invest in a special purpose acquisition company, a SPAC, it's just a blank check company. You put your $10 in and you wait for 2 years to see if they're going to invest in some company that's good or not. And guess what? The promoters get 20% if they do a deal. So they've got an incentive to do something, even if it's not the best deal in the world. And the big investors often get out and redeem, and you're left in taking that sponsor promote, diluting you in that.
Well, how do we change this? This is not right. There are people who they own these things that are $4, $5, $6. They tell me, Gary, it's like, we lost everything. We didn't know we could lose everything. How did this happen?
Well, so I've asked staff to give us recommendations. We have this commission, a 5-member commission, and hopefully we come to some consensus and put out to public comment a proposal. Now, what that really means is we're trying to make sure that you get better disclosure. Number 2, that the investment banker that you, Jim, were nervous about has to do that same rigorous analysis when they do the merger, when they look at that company. But make no mistake, there's sponsors in this that want to make a lot of money. That 20% promote is usually the retail investing public gets that dilution. There's a reason that these are costly enterprises for the retail public.
Gary, I'm looking at these projections, the people making these things, and they're wrong. The first quarter, and no one has to pay. No one gets in trouble for pie in the sky numbers that could never have been met.
Look, part of what's happened here is a new technology. That's these SPACs, a new technology. They're trying to get around some age-old protections about forecasts that you just said, about the disclosure of the information, and about the underwriter. And I would hope we'd put out some proposals, we get public comment, and we try to bring far greater investor protection to this space.
Okay, now let's talk about like for like in crypto. Today I went to I got this Ethereum, and I thought this was terrific. I'm earning 9% at this block fee. 9%. My Ethereum is earning 5%. 9%, hey Gary, that's terrific. How the heck can anyone earn 9% on their cash? Something's got to be going on here that you and I don't like.
Well, Aristotle also wrote extensively about money, by the way, but we won't get into that. I think you're raising something really important about like for like. If you put your money in a mutual fund, there's a whole set of protections around what they invest in and the information they share with you. And to earn 9%, as you say, in this market, there's probably some risk underneath that, but you get disclosure, you get to decide whether you're comfortable with the risk. That is not the case in crypto. in the crypto asset space, this $1.9 trillion asset space is highly speculative, and you don't have those disclosures. And many of these tokens are in fact investment contracts. It depends on the facts, depends on the individual circumstance, but they're raising money from you, and you are expecting some profit. You're looking for a return based on the efforts of others. And that generally makes something an investment contract under the securities law.
When I was little, I would get chain letters. And the chain letter is really cool because if you did this, you got money. Now they call it Dogecoin. And it's dressed up. What is Dogecoin? I mean, we can't just,
He's an idiot.
Just create something and create it and call it money. That's not right.
So you can imagine, and for your listeners, that I chair a regulatory and law enforcement commission. So I can't speak about any one token because it might come in front of our commission. But let me just talk more generally.
You do nothing.
When they're advertising to you, they're promoting to you that they're going to make you money. That's exactly what our laws were set up to protect. It was about disclosure and protecting against frauds. That's why President Roosevelt called it the Truth in Securities Act. And these tokens should be under and should understand that and disclose to you so you, the public, can decide.
So you can get your greasy hands in it.
There's no sunlight there at all. Okay, Dogecoin does not have Louis Brandeis. He didn't like Louis Brandeis' idea, which was brilliant, which is that let's expose it. Let's have all sorts of disclosure. Is not working. These young kids are in this Dogecoin. They don't know what they're in. They're going to lose fortunes. I know it's not your job or my job to keep it so they lose fortunes. But maybe if they had full sunlight, they would know that they're doing something foolish.
Look, sunlight matters.
If you're saying no, don't do it, we're doing it because you're an idiot.
Themselves. And Roosevelt knew this many years ago. It was about the companies issuing and raising money from the public. But in the day, the New York Stock Exchange and others also had oversight. And that's really important. The crypto exchanges that the public might be investing in, the crypto lending platforms should come in, work with us, register, and make sure that we can get the basic investor protection that people aren't front running you, are not there's not fraud or manipulation on those platforms. And without that, I think a lot of people are going to get hurt. And the SEC has the authorities also to bring actions in this space.
Fuck you.
I want to hear that. Then we're going to take a break and we're going to come back because we got to talk about what